All right, let's give this a try. You're a, all right, let's give this a try. You are a young wizard seeking treasure. You are a young wizard seeking treasure and glory. You are walking along a path in the forest, one day's journey from Ring City, your beloved home. Night has just fallen, and you're thinking about how it might be a good idea to find a campsite. After all, you're in goblin territory, and it's dangerous to travel in the dark. Suddenly, you smell something awful. Reginald, are you responsible for that outrageous smell? You ask the warrior striding ahead of you. Pray no, I'm always downwind from my companions when I squeeze the bellows, Reginald answers. You realize that you have never encountered this stench before, and it is close, and perhaps it's your imagination. But is that muffled breathing you just heard? What do you do? We shout a warning to Reginald, dive flat on your face, hide, stop, and listen. Mm, if we are walking next to somebody and we smell it, but he doesn't smell it, then that means it might be closer to him. It might be closer to us. Dive flat on my face. Dive, they have bows. You shout as you fling yourself down onto the hard dirt path. What? Reginald looks back. Who has bows? Just then, out of the brush, rush several snarling goblins, their eyes glowing green in the murky darkness. They charge you in no time. They surround you in no time and charge with their short spears. With his sword ready, Reginald steps forward to meet them. So we didn't need to dive. Uh, Lost two morale and then one went up. You can't cast spells very well lying face down in the dirt, and so it takes you a second to get up. As you stand, a small spear whistles past. With an arcane word and a flourish of one hand, you send a small bolt of fire into the one who threw the spear. The goblin drops to the ground, thrashing in flames. Reginald hacks down another, then the remaining three run away, whooping and yipping. Their cries are joined by others from the dark forest all around you. The calls are numerous, and you estimate there are far too many goblins to fight toe to toe. It's a hunting party, probably tracking wild game. We humans are a delicacy, much better than mutton, Reginald says. And shout out to Reggie, he held it down. You regard the two dead goblins on the ground. Dead goblins are worth 10 gold pieces per head in the city. Luckily, you don't need to carry their heads around. The city authorities will accept their left ears. We cut the ears off. Get the ears, you exclaim as you pull out your razor sharp dagger from your belt. For a second, your sometimes slow witted warrior sidekick doesn't understand. But as you start sawing away the first ear, he gets the idea and fishes out his own dagger. Suddenly, you have a bloody goblin ear stuffed in your pocket, and Reginald has one of his own. Nasty? Very. However, 10 gold pieces are nearly 6 months of wages to a common laborer, so you're willing to take the hit. What now? Reginald asks. Certainly, there are excellent places to hide in the forest. If we can just make it until morning. True, the goblins may have dogs, and their own sense of smell is keen, you say. We might climb a tree then. That would be at least defensible. That would at least be defensible, Reginald suggests. You wish to be treed like a fox with goblins barking underneath? If you wish a position that is both defensible and allows some freedom of movement, we should hasten to Castle Iverness. It is near, and we could fortify ourselves behind those walls, Reginald asks. You frown. It is a fortress, yes, but inhabited by what? Gods know what manner of creatures may have taken up residence in that ruin over the years. Well, I don't think hiding in the forest at nightfall is the greatest idea. I don't. Wait till that plane. Can I hear that plane? They don't have planes in Goblin Forest, I don't think. Slight time travel. I don't think that climbing a large tree would be good because he's right. What if we wake up and we're in the tree and they're right below us? So let's go to the ruin. Let us take refuge behind the stone walls of Castle Iverness, you say, or Iverness. Goblin hunting calls echo from all around in the forest as the two of you dash up the path 100 meters or so, where you find a fork in the road. The path to the right appears to be seldom used since it is nearly overgrown. The path to the left is clear, and you think you can see firelight down that way. Could this fire belong to the goblins, or if you're lucky, is it the campfire of another friendly adventuring party? What do you do? Castle, never question a wizard. Investigate fire. If there's goblin hunting calls all around, why would anyone be lighting a fire? It makes more sense that it would be a goblin fire if there's goblin calls everywhere. So let's hurry up and get to the castle. Enough foolishness. To the castle, Iverness, and her blessed walls, you proclaim. Reginald raises a fist. Yes, may their puny bodies break against our stone defenses. After a minute of stumbling, let's see if this works. After a minute of stumbling down what is best described as a game trail, you see the shadowy husk of the ruin in the moonlight ahead. Unfortunately, the battle cries of your pursuers are closer than ever, and when you look back over your shoulder, you see glowing eyes. The two of you turn on a burst of speed, and soon the outer wall of the castle looms before you. It is about 10 feet high and crumbling. You realize with horror that there are no holes on this side and that are large enough to fit through. Meanwhile, Reginald, a faster runner than yourself, has disappeared around the north corner of the wall. A short spear whistles past your head, and you look back and see at least 4 of the little beasts. What do you do? I have 12 mana. Get them off me. Crushing move. You dominated. Points +2, coins +2, luck +2. Morale decreases by 4, morale increases. Die, filthy vermin, you shout as you turn to face your pursuers. They are not far behind, and you only have to wait a few seconds before they're in range. You shout the spell trigger word, and a gout of flame erupts from your outstretched hand, engulfing 4 goblins. They scream shrilly for a moment and then fall silent as their flaming bodies crumple to the ground. No more goblins are visible, so you run to catch up with Reginald. As you round the north side, you see him above a section of partially crumbled wall. He helps you scramble over the top and onto the rotten gangplank. He grins at you and nods in the direction you came from. Gods, you have struck terror into that advance party. However, they will call for reinforcement. We have the wall. The question remains, can we hold it? We could go in. You point to the castle keep beyond the courtyard. The castle is 3 stories tall, or at least it had been. It had been before most of the top floor collapsed. The second story is barely any better. The fortress is as lifeless and still as a painting. Nevertheless, you wonder if anyone is looking back at you from the dark arrow slits of the first floor. What do you suggest? Let's go in. 2 are not enough to defend all 4 walls. Away to the keep, you shout. You run across the courtyard and open the large wooden double doors, which shriek on rusty hinges. Unlocked? This may be a trap, my friend. We'd best be on our guard, Reginald says. Man, shout out to Reggie. Once inside, Reggie slams and bars the doors. The entrance chamber is large with a high vaulted ceiling. The stone walls are cracked and flaking. The ground is strewn with loose rubble. The air is stale. And aside from the double doors behind you, there are closed wooden doors on the north, east, and west walls. Near the north door, there is a stairway going up, but it is blocked by rubble. It is not long before the front doors begin to rattle violently. Man, see, this is why we went inside. Through a nearby arrow slit, you can see glowing eyes and a glint of axes chopping away at the door. You're not sure how long the barred portal will hold them. Reginald wants to hide deeper in the castle. On the other hand, this place smells of death. It might be prudent to take a few seconds to investigate the rooms and doors. Let's look around. I don't want to barricade myself in a place and find out there's something worse in here. You motion to Reggie to check the east door. You inspect the ground and see there's been some traffic here. Some of the tracks on the dusty floor appear to be human-sized shoes or boots, while others appear to be from bare feet, far too large to be from men. See, that's what I'm saying. None of the tracks appear to belong to goblins. Listening, you can't hear anything over the goblins thumping and screaming outside. You direct the light of your lantern at the northern door and are about to turn toward the eastern door when something catches your attention. Was that an eye? You wonder. You think you caught a glimpse of a glistening eyeball through a rotting hole in the northern door. Casually, as though you just as though just taking another look around, you sweep your lantern light over the door again, pausing for just an instant at that spot. Yes, that was an eye. You're being watched, and although your glimpse of it was fleeting, you could tell the eye did not belong to a human. The white of the orb is pink with blood, while the retina is pitch black and large. Whoa. You would like to get a better look at the creature. There's a minor spell you normally use to magically open doors from a distance. You find it tedious opening doors yourself. As long as the door is unlocked, you could use this lazy wizard spell to open the door without being too close. On the other hand, they may frighten or anger whomever the eye belongs to. Perhaps you should just talk to it. Maybe you can join forces against the goblins. Alternatively, you might be able to hurl a bolt of fire through that eye hole. Not an easy shot, but you have the element of surprise. Finally, there's the running option, a choice that has been keeping wizards alive for thousands of years. What do you do? Open the door, shoot the eye hole, talk to the creature. I mean, it hasn't attacked us yet. It's just been watching us. Let's try talking to it. Just talking can get you whatever you want. Language, even a greater invention than fire. Okay. You muster your courage, face the door, and raise your voice to be heard over the pounding and shouting of the goblins. We mean you no harm. We wish only to crack. The door explodes open. The light of your lantern streams into the doorway to reveal a huge, muscled monster stooping over. He holds a massive spiked club in one hand and a melon sized rock in the other. He steps into the room. All right, so let's hope that he's friendly, you know? Neville's tongue, it's an ogre, Reginald curses. Greetings, let's try this. I don't know, hopefully this works. Greetings, you say, mustering your most cheerful smile. The yonder goblins are disrespecting your property. Let us join forces against them. Just then, the front doors of. I hope this works. Just then, the front doors of the castle burst open. Like a tidal wave crashing on the beach, a heap of goblins falls into the room, creatures one on top of another. A chorus of glee erupts from their fang mouths. The ogre hurls his stone straight at you. You duck and hear a squishy thud behind you. Dang, it's not friendly at all. Well, your diplomacy may not have exactly worked, but now there might be an opportunity. Time to let the ogre and the goblins become acquainted without you. Reginald and you nearly collide in your haste through the eastern portal. Once through, you slam the door closed. That ogre is going to be able to get through that. From the entrance chamber you just left come goblin yips of triumph, which then turn into screams of terror that are immediately drowned out by an earth-shaking snarl. Next is the sharp slapping of flesh against flesh and the wet sound of bodies ripping apart. That ogre is going crazy right now. You run from one room to the next. The ogre is not much of a housekeeper. The castle is full of giant cobwebs and broken furniture. I hate spiders, so I hope we don't run into any spiders. Finally, you enter a larger room, a dining room, as evidenced by a long wooden table and two fireplaces. You motion to Reginald to stop, and you both listen. Faintly, you can hear the far-off sounds of battle from beneath you, but behind you. Can't leave that way, you think. Just then, you hear something else. Labored breathing, and is that crying? I'm not gonna run. For the glory and the loot, you think, as you lead. You think to yourself as you take the lead. You quickly realize that the sound seems to be coming from this very room. You creep over the other end of the dining hall and see a young woman sitting on the ground, chained to a fireplace, rocking back and forth and sobbing. Wow, okay. Her cries break off and she looks up at you with an expression of fear that quickly turns to surprise. Who, who are you? She asks. You tell her your names and that you are here to smite evil while making your fortunes. This brings a smile to her face, a pretty smile, you suspect, although it's hard to tell under all the dirt smudged on her face. She gives her name as Siba and says that there is a key to her chains on the table. Sure enough, beside cracked and dusty china, Sure enough, beside cracked and dusty china is a small brass key. As you set about unlocking her, she tells you she is a merchant's daughter who was traveling with her father's trade caravan when it was attacked by a mighty ogre with a small band of priests of an evil god wearing dark cloaks. Those of her party not killed in the initial attack were taken prisoner and chained up in this room. One by one, they were taken away by the priests, never to return. Okay, so we found the ogre. Where's the priests? Is the question. They took her father, she sniffs. No doubt he is slain, but I must find him. Will you help me? You ask her if she has any idea where her father or the others might be, but she knows little about the rest of the castle. Reginald takes you aside and says, ought we to take her to safety and then look for her father on our own? She will be in danger traveling with us. You agree that having some half-starved, unarmed merchant's daughter tripping along behind you will only get her killed. But where is safety? Last time you checked, the courtyard was crawling with goblins, and according to her, the castle residents are not very good hosts. What do you do? Um, if we chain her up, the goblins could come into the room and get her. If we hide her, they might find her. It wouldn't be smart, but let's just get her. Your mother taught you well. Siba seems like a nice enough young woman, but as a merchant's daughter, she is not a very good addition to your adventuring party, and you are eager to escort her out of the castle as quickly as possible. I thought it was out of the room. I don't want to take her out of the castle. Who's this? Hold on. I don't know who this is. All right, we'll finish this in a minute.